Hello again, everybody, and welcome to my TNA Impact review for July 19th, 2012. Once again, it's open fight night. And we start with the Cowboy James Storm coming down to the ring, and he's talking about different things. He's talking about Austin Aries winning the world title, and he congratulates him on it. He hasn't forgotten about Robbie Roode. It's still personal between him, and he just wants to kick the shit out of him, more or less. And he talks about the Aces and Eights faction, or whoever the fuck they are, talking about how he would be the sheriff in this town if they're trying to be the Cowboys or whatever. That's that, you know. Tells Hulk Hogan to get well after his surgery that he had. He calls out Kurt Angle, which kind of tough to say that name after the stunt he pulled last weekend, the fucker, at the National Wrestling Hall of Fame at the Dan Gable Museum deal, which I was there for. And they play his music twice, and he doesn't come out there because Angle's getting the shit kicked out of him by Aces and Eights. Hell, they probably weren't happy about him not making the Wrestling Hall of Fame weekend himself. So that's about the end of that segment. It's probably well deserved. Alright, the first real match on the card was a Bound for Glory Series match between Samoa Joe, who comes out to the ring. I'm kind of likening him to a home run or strikeout hitter. Like back in the day, like a Gorman Thomas, or maybe a Rob Deere, or somebody like that. A couple of guys that you knew when they were going to come up to the plate, they're either probably going to hit a home run or strike out. And that's kind of what Samoa Joe's doing right now, because he's basically going for the home run in this case. In this case, he's going for submission victories. Well, he is the Samoan submission machine after all. But he calls out the Pope because he's always had a problem with him. And he does exactly what he says he's going to do. It's a pretty short match. Right decision was made. He wins by tap out, and with that, he elevates himself back into first in the Bound for Glory Series chase for the World Heavyweight Championship match at Bound for Glory. Alright, next, it's Jeff Hardy coming down to the ring. And he's going to call somebody out for his challenge, but then you got Robbie E coming down to the ring with his monkey of a bodyguard, Robbie T. And he basically calls out Jeff Hardy. Does Robbie E not know the concept of open fight night? I mean, seriously? But anyway, oh my god. This is a fucking joke if I've ever seen one. Robbie E wins by countout over Jeff Hardy because of Robbie T, and Hardy ends up fighting with him on the outside because Robbie T keeps interfering, and so Robbie E gets on the scoreboard and gets 5 points. What the fuck was this? Robbie E has no fucking business being in the Bound for Glory Series anyway. And he's getting points on Jeff Hardy? Are you fucking kidding me? Robbie E fucking sucks, and Robbie T deserves better than to hang around with this freaking Jersey Shore wannabe ripoff. Oh wow, here's a couple people we haven't seen in a couple months. Your Knockout Tag Team Champions, ODB and EY. Evidently ODB sent Eric Young out for fried chicken and beer about 2 months ago, and he's just finally coming back, but he never came back with it. So I guess he's got to go back to get it. So that's kind of a pointless segment. Alright, then we got the return of the gut check segment. You got JB in the ring, and he introduces Sam Shaw. I'm not really sure who this is, but anyway, he was going to be the next contestant, not on The Price is Right, but on the gut check segment. But this would be a recurring theme a couple more times throughout the night. Aces and Eights come out and attack him. And then when we come back from the commercial, you see Taz in the ring, and Al Snow and Bruce Pritchard in there, and they basically help him out of the ring. And Mike Tenay said later on that they're gonna redo this, and that on next week's show they're gonna redo it all over again because of because of the anarchy that they caused this week. So that'll be good. It'll be interesting to see where they go from there with the Sam Shaw guy. So, all right. Then in what turned out to be the 1 hour main event, you got Mr. Anderson coming down to the ring, and he, instead of calling out the biggest douchebag in the company, in his words, Christopher Daniels, he calls out somebody he respects in AJ Styles. Well, I thought this match was really good. I thought it was the best match on the card tonight. It was really a good back and forth thing. Anderson ends up going over to get the 7 points, and the only kind of a downer on the segment, if you can call it that, was after the match, Claire Lynch comes out from the back area and kind of comes through the crowd, and then she stops AJ. She says, "Oh, you haven't been taking my calls or this, that, you know." Then finally she has an envelope that shows some pictures from the night they supposedly conceived the child. You know, I kind of hope this ends up on like Jerry Springer or something like that. Hell, maybe Maury Povich or somebody can make a cameo appearance on Impact some night and figure out who the baby daddy really is. And if there's ever a reason for an ECW chant of "she's a crack whore," this would have been it right here. I don't know what this really had to do with anything, but Sean Wheelock, who is the Bellator commentator, he ends up joining Mike Tenay and Taz on commentary for the next match with RVD and Christopher Daniels. which is funny because when Daniels gets called out to the ring, he's still drinking his little Appletini, and he finishes out on the top of the stage area. So anyway, this match wasn't really anything all that special, but Daniels wins after a missed Rolling Thunder by RVD and some shenanigans on the top with his feet on the ropes. So Daniels ends up going over, surprisingly, on RVD, because RVD is not much of a job doer. So that's kind of a good thing, I guess. Oh, they talked to A-Double in the back, and they asked him about Bobby Roode going to call him out for his rematch tonight. Said, well, anything that Bobby Roode does, I can trump. And with aces and eights, I can trump that too. It's kind of a little response to when Bobby Roode is coming into the ring area, or not the ring area, but into the building earlier on, and talking about, are you going to call out Austin Aries? And it's like, yes, it's a fluke. It's a fluke. All right, I'm going to kind of try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. Brooke Hogan calls in, and Tenay and Taz are talking to her about the Hulkster surgery and how he's doing, and she's hoping he's getting better. And then you see Joseph Park in the back, kind of in the locker room area with Garrett Bischoff talking to him about like different kind of law services that he offers, and like, okay, that's another kind of a pointless segment, I guess. An excuse to get him on TV, I suppose. Okay, the next match in the open fight night, well, I guess not really a call out or anything, but it's Magnus against Bully Ray. Ray attacks him from the behind to start out the match. It doesn't really go that long. Bully Ray ends up going over. He gets the first 7 points of this competition. He ends up hitting the Bubba Cutter. Randy Orton, you can learn from this guy too. So he gets on the scoreboard, and that's probably the right decision. I mean, he's got to get his points somewhere, I guess. Then they show the vignette about the debut of Chavo Guerrero Jr. He's going to make his TNA debut. He's been over in Ring Ka King in India, so I don't really care. I mean, I've never been much of a Chavo Guerrero Jr. fan, so I could really give 2 squirts of monkey piss for this. But then it's main event time, and Bobby Roode does exactly what he says he's going to do. Calls out the TNA World Champion A-Double. Austin Aries, the greatest man who ever lived. And he was just saying that, once again, he says that his victory at Destination X was a fluke. And this was actually a decent match. I mean, really good back and forth. A good storytelling here. One comment I would like to make during this match, not about the match itself, but I think they did this a couple of weeks ago. It's like, what the hell are they doing? They just come back from the commercial, then they stick to the action for about 5-10 seconds, then they go back to another freaking commercial. What the hell's up with that? But anyway, yeah, I sound like Metal D right there, but this was a good match. And then at the end of the match, or towards the end of the match, there's no decision because we get another appearance by Ace and Eights. They attack Aries from the outside, and they throw him on the inside, and then you see Roode over in the corner, and look, you would have thought he was orchestrating the whole thing. He was just kind of clapping and everything. He extends his hand to one of the guys, and wow, then they start beating down on Bobby Roode even. So, wow, it's just kind of makes you wonder who's behind this. If I had to venture a guess, I'm not going to get into Shug Darty mode here, but I think you know who it is. I think it's a good way to get Mr. J-A-F-F. Ha ha ha! J-A-R-R-E-T-T. Back on television, baby. I will not assume Jeff Jarrett position. But if that's the way they're going to get him back on television, oh boy. Oh, it should be positively epic. Okay, final thoughts on this show. I thought that the Anderson Styles match was really good. That was kind of the highlight of the night for me. And then A-Double and Bobby Roode match was good. If you take out the Aces and Eights beat down at the end of the show, then you got who's the baby daddy for who's Clara Lynch's baby daddy? She claims that's AJ Styles. Well, it might take somebody like Jerry Springer or Maury Povich to figure that out. Maybe you even throw Steve Wilkins into the mix. You never know. But one thing that was missing this week was the lack of knockouts. I mean, you didn't have a knockout match this week. I mean, yeah, they showed ODB, but EY. But yeah, they might be your knockout tag team champions, but ODB isn't a knockout by any stretch of the imagination. But anyway, let me know what you thought down below, and I will talk to you later. Bye.